Hey, welcome back. My name is Dino. This video is on communities of practice. It's going to focus on Wenger's idea of communities of practice. What's the definition of communities of practice? Well, friends, it is, quote, formed by people who engage in a process of collective learning in a shared domain of human endeavor. So collective learning, and they do the same thing, same endeavor. Here are some examples in the communications field, education field. Here's some examples of some peer-to-peer professional development activities within education. For example, if you have schools, they can have subject matter specialists who get together, say a math specialist at K-8 or a reading specialist. At the school district level, you can have school board members who meet and talk to one another and educate one another. You can have isolated administrators, such as in the case of if you're living or working in a rural area. And finally, if you're doing teacher training or you're a trainee, I say hello to you, students who are teacher trainees who might be watching this. Welcome. What are some characteristics? Some characteristics of individual communities of practice members, like people who would be in them. They define their identity by a shared domain of interest, such as they might want to be a teacher or teacher trainee. They practice within the domain. They are practitioners. They're not just theoreticians. They engage in joint activities, discuss, help each other, and share information. So they have a intimate relationship with one another where information goes back and forth. It's not just a one-way street like as in a teacher's, like a classic teacher-student relationship. And they develop a shared repertoire of resources together, such as common experiences, stories that may converge or differ, various tools they may use, ways of addressing recurring problems, etc. So those are some things that these individual members may share with one another. Here are some characteristics of these communities. I have a couple of different sets of these. First is in terms of the communities, in terms of learning, they develop new ideas and strategies together, so that's one of the characteristics. There's problem sharing involved, whereby activities are often problem focused, so it's a problem in the field, so you do an activity that's based on that. There's mutual engagement where members test and react to new ideas and help each other. So again, it's not a one-way street, it's reciprocal. There's ideally innovation, where you cross your boundaries between your experiences and education, etc., to create new ideas. Also, as a connection, people who may never connect are otherwise connected through these COPs. Isn't that wonderful? Still more, friend. There's best practice sharing. Knowledge flows from individual insights and group best practices that have been used, documented, and verified. So this types of information is shared, and ideally it's made sure that it's somewhat legitimate by being documented and verified. There's also knowledge stewarding for these communities. That's where knowledge is collected, organized, connected with members, upgraded, and redeployed. So it's kind of like a continuous cycle of knowledge being made, collected, organized, connected, upgraded, redeployed. So it's like, again, it's a circular process. So what is the impact of these communities of practice? What's the outcome that comes out? They can impact various educational practices. Here's 3 ways. Internally, how to organize our educational experiences at ground school learning and practice through participation in communities around subject matters. So you can improve subject matter practice internally at a school or a department. It can also occur externally, how to connect the experience of students to actual practice through peripheral forms of participation in broader communities beyond the walls of the school. So it's not just what's happening in that one area, geographic or learning. It can be beyond that. And then finally, over the lifetime of students, how to serve the lifelong learning needs of students by organizing communities of practice focused on topics of continuing interest to students beyond the initial schooling period. This is really useful because if you can do this, then it's going to last much longer than if it did the opposite. Finally, in terms of impact, here's broader educational impacts of COPs. School is not the sole and privileged locus of learning. Like, say, if you're a teacher, you learn there. You learn in your own schools where you previously learned, but you can learn in professional development activities energized by COPs. School is part of a broader learning system, so it's learning is quite broad. Life is the main learning event. School is not, so it can be part of your life. And then finally, schools, classrooms, and training sessions should serve learning happening in the world. That was Communities of Practice. My name is Dino. Please feel free to like this video. Please feel free to comment. Do you belong in a community of practice? Would you like to? What characteristics do you have? What characteristics do your group have? Are they included here? Are there ones that we're missing? Finally, thanks for watching, and please feel free to subscribe to this channel if you like this type of content. As always, thanks for watching.